When starting with the installation, please look and notice the ABS sensors on each side of the vehicle. Each side will have a clip that inserts into the strut mount. That clip is going to face the front of the vehicle on each side. The first step to the assembly is to lower the smaller spring perch down onto the strut body. Notice in the image that there's a recessed area that faces up. This ensures that the perch doesn't get too tight over time. It's always going to be easy for you to loosen up with the wrenches included. Also note, this is the passenger side and the ABS hole is going to face forward. After you've installed your lower spring perch, install the upper lower spring perch. And notice in the image, this is how your bearings will fit over the spring perch before the spring goes on. Once you put the lower washer down, put the Torrington bearing on it and apply anti-seize as shown. Once you've applied the anti-seize, put the upper washer down over the Torrington bearing, extend the strut shaft fully and install the spring over the spring perch. Remove your factory bump stop and prepare to be cut as shown. Trim the bump stop as shown to a total of approximately 1.5 inches tall. Slide the bump stop over the strut shaft as shown. Once you have the bump stop on the strut shaft, install the upper lower spring perch as pictured. Like the lower perches, the upper perch will have a washer, a bearing, and a washer. Once you install the washer, then the bearing, apply anti-seize, just like you did on the lower. Install the washer. The BMR caster camber plates come with 2 billet spacers. The thicker one on the left is for the stock strut. The thin-walled version on the right is for the Viking strut. Take the thin-walled spacer and insert it into the BMR caster camber plate bearing. Now take the smaller upper cap, install it over the strut shaft. Then take the spacers and install the shortest spacer over the strut cap, as shown. Install the BMR caster camber plate directly on top of the shorter spacer. Then install the taller spacer on top of the BMR caster camber plate bearing. Install the provided lock nut that comes with the Viking coilover kit. Please be sure to tighten this nut down with hand tools as shown. Using pneumatic tools can result in damage to the strut. This image shows exactly what it should look like when you are done tightening the nut. At this point, your coilover is completely assembled. Please note the distance between the BMR caster camber plate and the smaller upper spring perch. There should be a gap there to allow for articulation. As seen in the image, there should be no play in the spring. Adjust the lower spring perch up until the spring has no slop where it cannot move vertically. Now we want to adjust spring preload. Take the upper lower perch and raise it until there is no vertical movement in the spring. Just a light amount of preload is what I prefer. Once you have set your spring preload, apply anti-seize liberally above and below the upper spring perch. It is very important to make sure that when you're installing the coilovers that you note the measurement from the strut mount to the top of the spring perch. This measurement should match on the left side and the right side coilover assembly. The caster camber plates will be side specific. In the image shown, this is the passenger side about to be installed. In this image, you will notice the difference of the top plate. This is the driver side about to be installed. When installing the strut to the spindle, you'll notice that the upper hole is slotted. You need to make sure that you push the spindle all the way inboard and tighten this down. By my finger, you'll notice that there's a space. There should be approximately 2 millimeters there, as shown. Before torquing the assembly, ensure that the strut shaft is all the way inboard and aft, as shown. To complete the assembly, please insert the lower fitting into the Viking strut mount. As pictured, you can zip tie the upper fitting to the strut body. With the vehicle at ride height on its own weight, you want to make sure that that 1.5 inch tall bump stop has play. If the bump stop does not move freely, you need to adjust more preload into the spring to raise the front of the car up. It is very crucial that the car has at least 1.5 inches of bump travel available. Congratulations on the installation of your KellTrac spec Viking coilover system. If you need any assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Good luck and enjoy.